You don't lack discipline. You don't lack intelligence. You are distracted. And distraction is not just a minor inconvenience in your life. It is actively destroying your ability to think clearly, to make meaningful decisions, and to live with intention. Every single day, your mind is being pulled in 1,000 different directions. Notifications are constantly demanding your attention. Social media algorithms are designed to hijack your focus, and your brain has been conditioned to seek out quick hits of dopamine rather than engaging in deep, meaningful work. This is not harmless. This constant state of mental fragmentation is eroding your capacity for sustained concentration. And without that capacity, you cannot build anything of real value in your life. 2,000 years ago, Marcus Aurelius faced a level of pressure and chaos that most of us cannot even imagine. He was the emperor of Rome, commanding armies across multiple fronts, making life and death decisions that affected millions of people, and dealing with political threats from every direction. Yet somehow, in the midst of all that chaos, he maintained absolute clarity of mind. He possessed a level of mental discipline and focus that allowed him to rule effectively, think deeply, and remain calm when everything around him was falling apart. He left us a method for achieving that same level of mental mastery, and that method is what we are going to explore today. If you want to regain control of your attention and transform your life, subscribe to this channel right now. This is not about temporary motivation or feel-good platitudes. This is about real mental discipline and the practical techniques that actually work. Let's begin. Marcus Aurelius understood something fundamental about the human mind that most people completely miss. He knew that the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your attention, and he practiced a technique that allowed him to eliminate distractions completely, not through willpower or suppression, but through a radical shift in how he engaged with the present moment. Throughout his meditations, he repeatedly emphasized one core principle: do what is in front of you with precision and with dignity. This was not just philosophical advice. This was his actual method for maintaining focus in the most chaotic circumstances imaginable. The technique can be called single-task conscious attention, and it operates on a simple but profound truth about how the human brain actually functions. Your mind cannot genuinely focus on two things at the same time with any real depth. What we call multitasking is actually just rapid task switching, and every single switch costs you mental energy and fragments your attention. Distraction only exists when your mind is attempting to flee from the present moment, when it is reaching either backward into rumination about the past or forward into anxiety about the future. When you bring your full conscious attention to the single task that is actually in front of you right now, distraction becomes impossible. The modern world has convinced you that productivity means doing multiple things simultaneously, that efficiency requires constant task switching and divided attention. This is completely backwards. What looks like productivity is actually just busy work and shallow processing. You're moving fast, but going nowhere. Marcus Aurelius and the Stoics did not try to manage their time better. They mastered their attention completely. They understood that 1 hour of deep, undivided focus produces more real value than 10 hours of scattered, fragmented work. This is the foundation of everything else we're going to discuss. Understanding the technique is only the first step. If you want to actually implement it, you need to understand why your mind is so powerfully drawn to distraction in the first place. This is not random, and it is not a character flaw. Your attraction to distraction is deeply rooted in your emotional system and your unconscious conditioning. The Stoics recognized this thousands of years before modern psychology confirmed it. Distraction serves a psychological function. It is a form of avoidance, a way your mind protects you from uncomfortable emotions and difficult realities. When you face a challenging task, something that requires real mental effort and sustained concentration, your brain automatically generates resistance. That resistance manifests as an almost overwhelming urge to check your phone, to browse social media, to do anything other than the difficult thing in front of you. You are not avoiding the task itself. You are avoiding the discomfort that comes with genuine mental effort. You are avoiding boredom, which your dopamine-hijacked nervous system has learned to interpret as a threat. You are avoiding the possibility of failure, the vulnerability of trying something difficult and potentially not succeeding. Marcus Aurelius was acutely aware of this tendency in his own mind. His meditations are filled with reminders he wrote to himself to return his attention to the present moment, to the duty immediately in front of him. He had to actively train his mind, again and again, to resist the pull of distraction. He understood that most of the mental noise we experience, most of the thoughts that pull us away from what matters, are simply patterns running below the level of conscious awareness. These are subconscious programs that were installed through years of conditioning, and they continue to run automatically unless you actively interrupt them. This is why willpower alone is never enough. You are fighting against deeply ingrained patterns that operate faster than conscious thought. To understand how Marcus Aurelius actually practiced this technique, you need to understand the context in which he lived. He was not sitting in a quiet monastery somewhere, contemplating philosophy in peaceful solitude. He was leading military campaigns on the frontier, dealing with plague outbreaks, managing political conspiracies, and making decisions that determined whether thousands of people lived or died. He had every possible excuse for mental chaos, for reactive decision-making, for allowing his attention to be pulled in every direction. Yet he maintained extraordinary clarity and calm. His method was deceptively simple but required absolute commitment. Before every action, before every decision, he engaged in a three-part process. First, clarification. He would define exactly what needed to be done, stripping away everything unnecessary and focusing only on what was essential. Second, acceptance. He would acknowledge the reality of the situation completely, without wishing it were different, without complaining about how difficult it was. Third, execution. He would commit fully to the action, bringing his complete attention to it, treating it as if it were the only thing that mattered in that moment. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself not to act as if he had 10,000 years to live. This was not morbid pessimism. This was a practical technique for eliminating the mental tendency to delay, to procrastinate, to treat the present moment as less important than some imagined future. When you truly internalize that your time is limited, that this moment is all you actually have, the pull of distraction loses its power. You stop fragmenting your attention across multiple timelines and hypothetical scenarios. You stop anticipating problems that have not happened yet. You stop ruminating about conversations that already ended. You become fully present, and in that presence, you discover a kind of power and effectiveness that multitasking can never provide. The result of this practice was not just increased productivity. It was a fundamental transformation in his way of being. He developed an unshakable inner calm, a clarity of thought that allowed him to see situations exactly as they were, and a natural authority that came not from aggression or dominance, but from absolute self-possession. This is what is available to you when you master your attention. Let's make this concrete. Let's talk about how you actually apply this technique in a modern world, where the challenges are different, but the principles remain exactly the same. Consider your work, whatever that work is. Most people approach their workday with their attention already fragmented before they even begin. They have multiple browser tabs open, their phone is within reach, notifications are enabled, and they're trying to do 3 or 4 different things simultaneously. They wonder why they feel exhausted at the end of the day, despite not actually accomplishing anything meaningful. The Stoic approach is radically different. You choose one task, one specific objective that needs to be completed. You eliminate every possible source of distraction before you begin. Your phone goes in another room or into a drawer. Notifications are turned off completely. You close every tab and application that is not directly related to the task at hand. Then you engage with that single task with your complete attention, treating it as if it were the most important thing in the world for the duration of time you have allocated to it. You do not check your email. You do not peek at your phone. You do not allow your mind to wander to what you are going to do next. You are here, fully present, doing this one thing with precision and care. The same principle applies to studying, to creative work, to any form of deep thinking. You create an environment of complete focus. You embrace silence rather than filling every moment with background noise and stimulation. You commit totally to the work in front of you, understanding that quality of engagement is infinitely more valuable than quantity of hours spent. Even in your personal life, the principle holds. When you are with someone, be actually present with them. Listen completely. Engage fully. Stop treating every interaction as an opportunity to check your phone or let your mind drift to other concerns. The quality of your relationships, like the quality of your work, is determined by the quality of your attention. Your entire life improves when your attention becomes disciplined. This is not an exaggeration. Every area of your existence is shaped by what you choose to focus on and how deeply you engage with it. Mastering your attention is the foundational skill that makes everything else possible. Now I want to give you a specific daily exercise that Marcus Aurelius would have recognized immediately. An exercise that will train your capacity for sustained attention and gradually eliminate your addiction to distraction. This exercise is called "This Task Only," and it is brutally simple but remarkably powerful. Here's how it works. Every single day, you choose one task that genuinely matters, something that requires real focus and mental effort. It should not be easy or trivial. It should be something that your mind will resist, something that triggers that familiar urge to check your phone or find some other distraction. Before you begin, you eliminate every possible source of interruption. You create an environment where distraction is not just resisted, but made physically difficult. Then you engage with that task completely, bringing your full conscious attention to it, and you do not stop until it is finished or until you have completed a predetermined time block. You do not switch tasks midway through. You do not take breaks to check social media. You do not allow your attention to fragment. This task only. The reason this exercise is so effective is that it functions as resistance training for your mind. Every time you resist the urge to distract yourself, every time you notice your attention wandering and deliberately bring it back to the task, you are strengthening your capacity for sustained focus. This capacity is like a muscle. It atrophies when you do not use it, and it grows stronger when you consistently challenge it. Most people have allowed their attention span to deteriorate to the point where they can barely focus on anything for more than a few minutes without experiencing intense discomfort. This exercise reverses that decay. Marcus Aurelius wrote that we should concentrate every minute like a Roman, bringing the full force of our being to bear on whatever stands in front of us. This was not just inspirational rhetoric. This was a description of his actual daily practice. He treated every action, no matter how small, as worthy of his complete attention. He understood that how you do anything is how you do everything, that the quality of attention you bring to small tasks shapes your capacity to handle larger challenges. The long-term results of this practice are profound. You experience dramatically less stress because you are no longer trying to hold multiple concerns in your mind simultaneously. You develop greater clarity about what actually matters because you are forced to choose consciously rather than reacting automatically. Most importantly, you begin to develop genuine respect for yourself. You stop being someone who is controlled by their impulses and external stimuli. You become someone who directs their own mind deliberately and purposefully. That shift in identity changes everything. Despite understanding intellectually that focus and discipline are important, most people never actually develop these capacities. They remain trapped in patterns of distraction and fragmented attention for their entire lives. Understanding why most people fail is crucial because it allows you to avoid the same mistakes. The most common error is looking for shortcuts, searching for some productivity hack or technique that will magically solve the problem without requiring real effort or change. People want apps that will block distractions for them, motivational videos that will inspire them to focus, elaborate systems that will somehow make discipline easy. None of this works because it addresses the symptoms rather than the root cause. The second major mistake is depending on motivation. People wait until they feel motivated to do difficult work, and when that motivation inevitably fades, they collapse back into distraction and procrastination. Marcus Aurelius never talked about motivation. He talked about discipline, about duty, about doing what needs to be done regardless of how you feel about it. Motivation is an emotion, and emotions are unreliable. Discipline is a practice, a set of habits that you reinforce through consistent action regardless of your emotional state. The third and perhaps most critical error is ignoring the subconscious patterns that drive distraction in the first place. Your conscious mind might understand that you should focus on your work, but if your subconscious is running programs that equate focus with discomfort and distraction with relief, you will sabotage yourself every single time. These subconscious patterns were installed over years, sometimes decades of conditioning. They do not change simply because you decide consciously that you want to be more focused. They require deliberate reprogramming at a deeper level. The Stoic truth that most people do not want to hear is that discipline is not something you acquire once and then possess forever. It is built through daily practice. It is reinforced through consistent action. It is embodied through repetition until it becomes part of your fundamental nature. You do not eliminate distractions once and then live happily ever after. You train yourself daily to recognize the pull of distraction, to understand what drives it, and to choose focus instead. This is lifelong work, not a weekend project. Most people fail because they are not willing to commit to that level of ongoing practice. They want results without process, transformation without effort. When you understand discipline not as restriction, but as liberation, not as suffering, but as the path to genuine power, everything changes. The Stoics recognize that attention is the fundamental building block of identity. What you consistently pay attention to shapes your habits. Your habits shape your character. Your character determines your destiny. This is not mystical thinking. This is observable reality. If you consistently give your attention to shallow distractions, you become a shallow person. If you consistently direct your attention toward what is meaningful and difficult, you develop depth and capability. Marcus Aurelius did not seek comfort. He did not look for ways to make his life easier or more pleasant. He actively chose difficulty because he understood that difficulty is what forges character. He sought clarity of mind, mastery over his own reactions and impulses, the ability to remain calm and purposeful regardless of external circumstances. That kind of mastery does not come from avoiding challenges. It comes from engaging with challenges fully, with complete attention, transforming obstacles into opportunities for growth. The ultimate goal of Stoic practice is not just better focus or increased productivity. It is complete self-possession, the state of being fully in control of your own mind, rather than being controlled by external stimuli and unconscious patterns. When you achieve that state, even partially, you discover a kind of freedom that people who live in constant distraction cannot even imagine. You are no longer a slave to your impulses. You are no longer jerked around by every notification and fleeting emotion. You become someone who acts deliberately, who chooses consciously, who lives with intention rather than simply reacting to whatever grabs their attention in the moment. Let's bring this all together. Distraction is not a minor problem. It is a fundamental loss of self, a gradual erosion of your capacity to think, choose, and act according to your own values rather than being controlled by external forces. Attention is power, the power to shape your own mind, to build capabilities that matter, to create a life of meaning rather than just consuming whatever content the algorithms feed you. Stoicism offers a path to developing that power through discipline, through the daily practice of bringing your full awareness to the present moment and engaging completely with whatever is in front of you. You do not need more time. Nobody needs more time. What you need is a disciplined mind, the ability to use the time you already have with focus and intention rather than scattering your attention across 1,000 different things and accomplishing nothing of real value. Marcus Aurelius demonstrated that this kind of mental discipline is possible even in the most chaotic and demanding circumstances imaginable. If an emperor commanding armies, and ruling an empire could maintain clarity and focus, you can certainly do the same in your own life. That if you are serious about eliminating distractions and rebuilding genuine mental focus, I want to recommend a tool that works on the deeper level we have been discussing. It is called the subconscious millionaire system, and it is specifically designed to reprogram the subconscious patterns that keep people trapped in cycles of distraction and scattered attention. Stoic discipline provides the philosophical framework and the daily practices, but lasting change requires addressing the unconscious programming that drives behavior. You will find the link to that system in the description below. It is a complement to everything we have covered here, working at the level where real transformation happens. Subscribe to this channel if you want more content on mental discipline, Stoic philosophy, and practical techniques for mastering your own mind. Leave a comment and tell me what distracts you the most right now. What pulls your attention away from what actually matters? And if this video provided value, hit the like button so more people can discover this content. The battle for your attention is the most important battle you will ever fight. Everything else in your life depends on winning it.